Hi, I'm Steve, and welcome to Trains Explained. In the 1820s, getting from A to B was a difficult matter, but not if you were coal in this specific part of England. This is the Wylam Colliery, and here they had some locomotives that hauled wagons. This is one of the locomotives, this is Puffing Billy, and this is also another locomotive called Locomotion Number 1, which was at the Stockton and Darlington Railway, which opened in 1825. This is probably the limit to where you're going to go by train. If you live here, or here, you're probably in a good chance of getting a train, but still, it was only a public railway, it's no guarantee it's going to be steam powered or arrive at all. So people decided to change that. This is Liverpool and this is Manchester. These are two of the largest cities in the northwest of the United Kingdom. And, well, they were linked by a canal, but boats are slow, and, well, they're boats. You want to go fast, don't you? You want to go a bit quicker. There was turnpike roads, sure, but what about speed? What about efficiency? What about a railway? Well, a route was laid out by George Stephenson. Yes, that George Stephenson, the great guy. This is why he's great. This is the greatness bit. And he laid out this railway, the Liverpool and Manchester Railway. But there was a board meeting, and they were deciding what to use on the railway. George Stephenson, an advocate of steam, said that they could use steam power for the line, maybe a series of stationary engines or locomotives. He preferred the locomotive aspect of it. But the officials weren't too convinced. They still wanted to go for rope inclines with horses, carts and all sorts of other crazy ideas. So a scheme was laid out for a trial to take place to see if steam power could in fact haul its goods. Well, where are you going to do this? Let's face it, you've got half your line, right? It's 1829, a bit of your line's built, some of it's sunk into Chat Moss and there's a massive cutting. So what are you going to do? Well, there's a bit of flat railway that's been built and it's near Rainhill, a small town just here. And, well, it's 3 miles long, and this is 30 miles, so, hey, you're going to run your engines back and forth 10 times. That'll simulate a full trip. So, it was decided that in October of 1829, the Rainhill Trials took place to decide which was the best steam locomotive, if any, to use for the line. There were a total of 5 entries of the Rainhill Trials. Number 1, Novelty. Built by John Ericsson and John Bathwaite, it was based on the old fire engines that they had down in London, and as you can see, it looks a little bit similar, just with some more wheels and bronze. It did have a few steaming issues, and, well, it had no draft to the fire, so that had to be supplied by bellows, and it was only built in 7 weeks. I think Chaos 2 took longer to build than that. Novelty was lightweight runner, it was a free runner, large wheels, always good for speed, and it looked very different from every other engine out there. It didn't look like anything from the collieries. It had no outside notion of how it moved. It just sort of went. And, well, the crowd loved it. Next engine was Perseverance. This was built by Timothy Burstall of Leith. Leith? That says Leith? Yeah, that does say Leith. I don't know where Leith is, but that's where he's from. In the effort of going from wherever Leith is to... It's here, by the way. I looked it up. In the effort of going from wherever Leith is to Rainhill, Perseverance was quite damaged in the journey, and it had to be rebuilt by the guy himself on site. It took 6 days out of the 9 that the Rainhill Trials ran. Well, 5 days. On the 6th day he ran it, and, well, spoilers, he didn't win. And it went about 6 miles an hour, and yeah, it was really quite bad, and he was given a consolation prize of 25 quid, poor guy. I feel for you, man. Now here is an entry for the Times. Cyclopede. It's a horse on a treadmill. Why? The next entrant is Sampurai, built by Timothy Hackworth in 1829 by himself in Soho Works in Shildon. That's where, by the way, the other half of the Railway Museum is. Sampurai was a weird looking beast, nothing too dissimilar though from the colliery engines that were running at the time, with vertical cylinders pointing downwards, driving 4 coupled wheels. It was quite powerful and had a large amount of tractive effort and could probably pull more than its competitors. However, it was very heavy and, well, it had to have its cylinders and boiler made by outside contractors, which was a decision that he had to make. He was on his own, he couldn't really make a boiler and cylinders by himself, he had no casting machines, he had to just make stuff that he could. And finally, Rocket. Spoilers, it wins, we know this. But this is Rocket, built by Robert Stephenson, not George. The boiler, however, was designed by a bloke called Henry Booth, who just so happened to be the treasurer of the railway. This is actually, I mentioned this in my previous video, the first engine to use different sized wheels. Yeah, there we are. How about that? The Rocket was basically the best engine here, but we'll get to that a bit later. So, what happened at the Rainhill Trials? This 9-day event, how did it go down? Well, it started off with Cyclopede. I think sources say the horse ran away. I hope it had a good life. Bye-bye, horse. Perseverance, still being built most of the time, and like I said, when it ran, it wasn't very good. Consolation prize, poor boy. Samprai. Now, here was an engine that had quite an eventful sort of get-going. It had a few shortcomings. One of the main problems it had was its blast pipe. You know, this is the bit that makes engines go chuff. The blast pipe was so strong that the air pulled through the fire actually pulled the fire out of the chimney. That can't have been a good idea since, you know, you throw coal in, coal comes out. That's no good. Novelty. Now, Novelty. Crowd favourite, judges loved it. Look at it. I mean, it looks weird, but that's probably because my model in Transport Fever isn't very accurate to the original, and I'm not that great. But yeah, look at it. It has no real means of moving if you're looking from a distance, and it looks completely different from Rocket and Samprai and Perseverance. It's doesn't look anything like it's come out of a colliery. It looks efficient because you see these creators, they're from London who has made this, and it's quite it's not the riff-raff you get from the north. It's more toned. It's got these sleek lines, you see, and it's not got any hard angles on the outside. And the best part is you can't see any of that dangerous motion going on. What the hell happened then? So, Samprai. Another sort of favourite. Everyone sort of thinks it looks like one of the old colliery engines. Judges aren't a fan. Also, it's overweight, so technically illegal. So if it won, I don't know what would have happened, but it didn't. And this is why. Yeah, one of the cylinders kind of blew up. Yeah. Just boom. Anyway, back to the trials. Novelty tries again. They fix the bellow, but it breaks. This time due to more different issues, and also they found out that there's no way to clean the clinker out the firebox. All that molten ash just stays there. So, Rocket won. The Stevensons won the lucrative contract for the Liverpool-Manchester Railway and the £500 reward, which equates to like 40 grand in today's money, which probably isn't still a whole lot if you've just built a locomotive. But so yeah, the Stevensons won the contract, and that's when they start building, well, all their engines for the railway. There were a few other companies as well that built engines for the railway, and this is when we got onto the part of the aftermath of the Rainhill Trials. What happened to the contestants? Well, for one, I hope the horse had a nice, lovely life and ate a lot of tasty hay. So what happened to Novelty? Well, Novelty was sold to the Runcorn Gap Railway, where a few other locomotives of a similar kind were made for that railway. They weren't fantastic. However, Novelty had a decent existence. I imagine pulling slightly smaller trains. A third cylinder was added at one point, especially to power the bellows, so they kept that idea. Idiots. But yeah, parts of it actually still exist. The wheels, if you want to go to the National Museum of Science and Industry, or whatever it's called now, in Manchester, then they see the replica. Those wheels aren't replica wheels, they are the actual Novelty wheels. And one of the pistons is also the real one. I don't know which one. It's the other one that's in the museum in Rainhill. So if you go to Rainhill and see that cylinder, then the other one's in Manchester. That's how you know which one it is. Samprai. Well, this engine was sold off to the Bolton and Lee, hired Samprai, and basically they ran it for quite a while, like 30 odd years, into the 1860s I believe it was run, when it was finally retired and preserved, and you can still go and see it in Shildon, just yards away from where it was built. It's lost its green paint, sadly. It's gone kind of brown, grey, black colour. But yeah, most of the original engine exists. I don't think there's much of it missing. Speaking of, Rocket. Yeah, okay, picture this. You see this engine, right? This is how it looks now. This is it in the Science Museum. It's missing a fair... Well, where's its coupling rods? It's gained a smoke box at some point. The funnel's changed. Where's the cladding gone? It's got the nameplate, that's right. Firebox has done a runner. And probably the tender got scrapped ages ago, I reckon. Not a whole lot of it left. It's a bit of a ruin. I'd say if you wanted to go and get a taste of the engines at this time at the Rainhill Trials, go to the Shildon Museum Locomotion and see Hackworth Samprai. It's probably the best preserved out of the 3 Rainhill locomotives. I guess that ends the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Click subscribe. Might make more. I don't know. Well, actually, yes, I do know. I will make more. I have plans. When will I get to do them? I don't know. And will I notify you of the release? I don't know. How long will it be between the recording of this and the actual release of the video? I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.